your boy JS Wanna Supply, VBCRadio.com. It's the Aries Lounge Podcast. And once again, God has blessed me. He has brought down the blessings from on the sky. And I have got one of my multi-year, like forever been wanting to talk to this guy since I was an artist. When I was recording in the studio and he wouldn't say shit to me. You know what I mean? It's been a long road for this guy. He has built an empire that has reshaped Baltimore's entertainment industry, and he has touched pretty much almost every artist in the city, whether they know it or not. I've got Mike McIntosh in the studio. What's up, bro?
I'm good.
You good?
Mic check.
1 2 1 2. What is this?
1 2. I'm trying to see my levels over there. I ain't see no levels.
I knew he was going to do that. I was like, he's going to see that. An engineer at heart, bro. An engineer at heart. You can't help it. Once it's in your blood,
no,
it never changes.
It never changes. Sure, my voice is right. You know what I'm saying?
He got the fresh cut, embarrassing me out here. I'm looking like a rugged homeless nigga.
So
he
good.
Is fresh.
So
you
good.
know what I'm saying? So how have you been doing? Let's get the pleasantries out of the way. How's life?
I'm good.
You look healthy.
I'm good.
You know what I mean? You look like you great aging gracefully.
Of course.
You one of them dudes that get older but look younger when they get older. Be messing with my chicks. You know what I'm saying? Just busting down mine. I'm trying to get my 30-year-old. You knocking them all down.
No, I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Word.
You know what I mean? And I can't complain.
Word.
Yeah. But we got to get the disclaimers out the way.
Okay, let's do the disclaimers.
First and foremost, you know what I mean, we have to thank Ogun for getting me here.
Definitely.
Because I don't do interviews.
You definitely
I only take pictures. I really don't, I try to stay low key. So, he called me and said, we need to do this thing. Whatever he said, I'm going to do it. So, other than that, thanks for being here.
Thank you for
accepting
my request.
Thanks for the invite. Other than that, if I say anything to offend anybody, please forgive me up front. And other than that, if I get emotional or something like that, please forgive me because I'm a very passionate person about what I do. Right. So other than that, I try to bring as much value as I can to this podcast.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So number one, are you from Baltimore?
Nah.
These are the corny questions that Ogun didn't want me to use.
I'm not from Baltimore.
Okay, where are you from?
I was born in Jamaica, and
really?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I was born in Jamaica.
What part?
I was born in Jamaica. Just Jamaica. Jamaica don't have no parts.
Oh, okay. I heard there was I thought there was like a Queen Anne's or something, and then there was this and that. And I watched some Bob Marley documentaries. I feel like I'm versed.
Nah, we from a country like close to Mobile, Montego Bay, so to speak. And I came in when I was like 12, 14, landed in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, went to high school in Miami when Jamaicans were not cool. You know what I mean? That shit was not cool.
Before y'all was in town.
You know what I mean? That shit was not cool.
Before Shop Ranks took off.
You know what I mean? It was not cool. And then from there, I went to the service for out of high school. I went to the service for like 3 years, 2 years, something around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel like some of your discipline came from the military?
Definitely, because if I never went to the military, I probably would have lost. So when I came out of high school, I had no direction of what I wanted to do or nothing.
So what made you choose the military? Was it like, all right, I get some easy money?
No.
Shoot some people?
No, I had about 5 conversations. Nah, shooting people. In my lifetime, I had about 5 conversations with my father. And one of them was, if you don't know what you're doing with your life, you join the military. Because he was a police. Career. He was a career police. Mm. So that's probably one of the best advice he ever gave me. And I joined the Navy because I just wanted to be as far away as I could. Period.
Salute. My brother's in the Navy, so shout out to him.
Best decision I ever made.
Word.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell me about the places you saw while you was in the Navy.
We stayed in the islands. We was down like in South America somewhere.
Okay, so you don't have no Asian babies. I thought you was going to yeah, we was over there. Yeah, popping that Asian. What's it?
No.
Cool. That's
You know what's so funny? When I was in this, when I was in high school, I used to like socially drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we Jamaicans, so we drink like Heineken.
Yeah, y'all drink like in the morning. I wake up, you know what I'm saying?
Aries.
It's crazy.
So, but the funny thing is, when I got into the service, I was extremely disciplined. I never, all 3 years, I never drank.
Really?
I don't know what it was. I never drank nothing. Nothing.
Isn't that the time?
I know. It was
Because
just
when I hear like liquor's cheaper, you got the checks, you ain't got no overhead for real.
I know. And you know, you stuck on a ship for like 2 months.
That is true. With a bunch of
months.
You don't want
3 months.
too drunk. Yeah. Right.
And you know, but I never. I was extremely disciplined in the service.
Word. That is weird.
And yeah, I know.
Weird and amazing.
Yeah, and that's when I bumped into. I got heavily into Malcolm X, Bob Marley, and it's gonna sound weird, but the Chronic, Dr. Dre, the Chronic. I think I probably bought like 7 or 8 tapes, played them till they broke. I probably played them like 1,000,001 times.
Now let me ask you this: what is it that drew you to the Dr. Dre project?
One of the things I noticed, and it carried over in my career, it wasn't music. It was like it was like theme music. It never stopped.
Almost like a film.
Yeah, it never stopped.
Right.
Every time you go for that rewind button, it just like transformed into something else.
Agreed.
And that's what really drew me to it. Like, and it was just like I never heard it before. Like,
word. So what are elements of Bob Marley besides that he was from where you're from? Like, what was it that really brought you into that?
Bob Marley?
Yeah.
I think Bob Marley pretty much was beyond his time. Everything he spoke of, if you go back and listen to his music now, it's like still beyond his time. Like what he talked about now is what's going back then is what's going on now.
Right.
And it was just one of those times. I feel like I was, you know, like every young man between 20 and 25, most of us, you know, we lost. You know, we really don't know ourselves.
That's a fact.
You know, so
that's a fact.
I was just, you know, searching for something to really identify myself with. And, you know, since he's from the motherland, it was just one of them things. And then I always wanted to be a Rasta. You know, never worked out because my father hated dreads, and ganja, so it was one of them things. You know what I mean?
But he had dreads at one point, people.
Oh no, of course. Of course, and I never forgot what my father saw me with.
You still got him?
Yeah, I do got him.
Yeah, I got him.
I do have him.
That's weird. I don't know what it is, but once you cut your dreads, you don't throw them away.
I got him.
And it's a weird thing. Yeah. Have you ever saw Bob Marley live? Like perform?
No, I never saw him live. I mean, I've been in the vicinity, but I've never actually was able to see him live.
Word. Salute. All right, so how did your journey from the Navy end you up in Baltimore?
When I was in the Navy, there was a guy there. He had an MPC 2000 on the ship. In like a little storage room, probably quarter the size of this. And he was making beats. Now that I think about it, he was pretty whack, but it was just the fact that we was on the ship, he was making beats.
Right.
And I was fascinated by it. And then when I got out, I was in New York for a little bit, and then my sister was in Baltimore, stationed in Aberdeen. She was stationed in Aberdeen, and then you know, that's how I just ended up down here, because myself, my sister, my brother, we was extremely close. So it was just one of those things. I ended up down here visiting her, and one thing led to another. You know, I just stayed down here. You know, and that's how I ended up in Baltimore. I'm stuck down here pretty much.
So let me take a half step back. So you got an MPC 2000. Now, normally, when I bought my XL, so I don't know if there was a huge difference between the 2000 and the XL, is I had to input the sounds. Meaning I had to either record it, sample it, chop it up. What were you getting your sounds from? Did he have like pre-chopped up drum sounds that he had loaded in it, or were you guys actually sampling at the time, or was it like a keyboard with the MP? How were you guys putting it all together?
Well, actually have no idea because he would never let me touch it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it was just one of those things. So I don't know. All I remember was the 2000, and I remember he would never let me touch it. And when I got out of the, but I was just sitting there watching him, put stuff together, and then you're going back listening to Dre, and then realize you're trying to like connect the two,
Right.
And it just got me started. This got my mind started on that direction. And I always liked music because I grew up in the dance hall.
Mm.
When you know what I mean, you
Stuff plates.
Yeah, and you wiring up sound, and we got these huge speakers.
Yeah, boy.
Like,
Sounds.
you're in them, like it ain't like here. You're hearing that shit from miles away. You know what I mean?
I used to rap with a dude he was Jamaican, and he was so big. Oh, we're gonna have a sound. I'm like, what's a sound?
Dance
and then he told us it was like,
Yeah.
all right, so you got the DJ, you got the guy that's on the mic, you got the dude that picks the records, then you got the mixing engineer, and then you got whomever like the little helpers are. And I'm like, so that's the sound. I said, that sounds like a whole goddamn production company.
Yeah, it was serious.
And they would just set, every time they would do something, it was like set up 1,000 speakers and see how many ears you can blow away within whatever time period. And the partying, Jamaican dudes don't start the party until 2 in the morning.
I know.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I went to, I've been living in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Went to, what was this dude? What is his name? He's like a super, super gigantic megastar in reggae music. And like, I went to the concert and there were like 20,000 opening acts.
Yeah.
And my dumb ass got there at 9.
Yeah.
Yo, this motherfucker don't come out until 3:30 in the morning. And it's smoke everywhere. Now this is outside. I can't see. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's drinks everywhere. There's women, scantily clad women everywhere. Thank God for Jamaicans. Man, it was like a phenomenal experience. But they had a sound that was pretty much kind of coordinating everything. So they would usher the artists on and usher the artists off and play records to get you hype. And then it was like a phenomenal moment. Like, I can see how that, plus the NPC and all that could kind of...
It was definitely... But the only difference with me is, when I was much younger, I used to like take apart my mom's stereo system. It kind of looked like that right there. The thing when you pull it up and you put the record player.
Old school joint.
Yeah, I would go in there and like...
Did she have the 8-track?
No, I don't remember 8-track, but I know 8-track, but I don't remember if she had an 8-track. But I would take the speakers out and I'll make my own, box and all that stuff. And I'll put my own stuff together with a Walkman, tape player.
Wow.
And that's how I really got. So I was always more drawn towards the technical side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You always wanted to know how it worked.
Yeah. How it worked, yeah.
So did that affect how you started listening to the music? Because there's the initial point, I'm a producer. So there used to be the point where I just enjoyed it. But then there was the like, man, I hear this bass sound. And you can start picking out instruments. And then you start picking out, this is a transition. And
well, I tried, and I soon realized I sucked at it. Because I was in New York one time, and I bought I think it was like a Boss 505 or 60 something like that. I think Roland made it. And I think I had that thing for maybe 3 months. And the only thing I could program was like a 808 kick drum or something. And I remember my brother came to visit me. Yes, Nigel McIntosh came to visit me.
Shout out.
And I left and went to take a shower because he came back from Jamaica. He was down there for a little bit, came back, and he was visiting me in New York. And I went to go take a shower, and I came out the bathroom, and I heard something in the living room like rocking. I came in the living room and I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, I ain't know that shit had no reggae presets in there. He's like, nah, I just made it. I'm like, what? And I'm like looking at this nigga like, nah, you had this thing for 3 months. I couldn't figure it out. But he just put it on and bang, 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 and that was it.
Word.
And that's when I realized, this whole music thing, it has different parts to it. And that was something he was definitely gifted at. It just came natural to him. As far as just the notes, the music, because it's an artistic thing, you know what I mean? And once I stuck to it maybe a couple more years, But once I realized that really wasn't my strong suit, then I shifted gears and I really started focusing on engineering, because I really started out trying to be a producer. Yeah.
And your brother blew you out of the water on that one.
Pretty much. Yes, I just went to being start focusing on being an engineer.
So when did you open up? All right. So the time between that realization and then opening up the doors to the studio, like, what is it? Is it, all right, you're gradually buying equipment, or was there just a moment when you were like, all right, I'm just going to open the studio? And what ended up, I mean, did really that moment really mean that to you so much that you were like, I got to open the studio?
Yes and no. What ended up happening was I had another realization. Every time I would see a video, or I would see somebody in the studio, because I'm in New York, so I see these guys all the time, and I would see Tribe Called Quest, or Black Moon and all them was big back then.
Word.
And it was always this white boy sitting behind the board, and I'm a very observant person, you know what I mean? And that shit just really like got to fuck niggas can't engineer or something. So then I went to it was Funky Slice, Sony, and Battery, because I know Battery is where Tribe and all of them was, and I interned there. And when I was interning there, I spoke to one of the owners and I said, yeah, I'm about to go to this audio school. He said, how much is it? I said, $13,000. And back then, $13,000 was a lot of money. And he was like, $13,000? Man, you better off just buy your own damn equipment, and
right. And learn to do that.
Learning to do that. And I said, you know what I mean? And then that's pretty much it. And that's how I really understood how to run a studio, by being around them. And as I said, you really don't do nothing when you're there. Go get t-shirts, coffee, but just being in the environment, that's how I really got the idea of, okay, this is how a studio is supposed to be ran. And when I came to Baltimore, and one more thing, my girlfriend at the time, her father, which was like a mentor to me, something he said to me and I never forgot it. He was like, you always got to be your own landlord. And he always like beat it in my head. You know what I mean? Always got to be your own landlord. Always got to be your own landlord. And I just, even, it never registered at the time.
Right.
But, eventually, as time moved on, that was another key thing, a part of my success, so to speak.
Did you make any critical connections industry-wise while you were interning? You're at Battery Studio.
No, everybody used to come through. Big Daddy Kane, Tribe, Black Moon, everybody, man. Like, I don't know if anybody was, because they were just like regular dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? But as far as like connect, it's like anything else, you know what I mean? It's just, if you're not popping,
it's kind of like,
it's like, yeah, you're just the intern, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
I was cool with special ed, but my girl at the time, her sister and him, they went to school, so we was cool. But he was just like a dude around the way. And that's the thing a lot of people don't know. When you're in New York, it's like, okay, that's just special ed.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
So it's not the whole, oh my God!
Nah, that's just y'all from around the way.
Riding around on the hovercraft, oh my God!
Nah, he wasn't that big back then, no.
All right, so you finish your I guess internship. You leave out of that. Is that when you like, all right, cool? I make a decision. I'm going to invest in equipment. I'm going to move to Baltimore. Because wouldn't it have made more sense to set up a studio in New York?
Well, I felt like I never liked New York. That was the whole thing. I just never liked. I love it. As far as living there, I just couldn't. There's just something about it I just couldn't wrap my mind around. It's like all these people just packed on top of each other. I just couldn't. You know what I mean? I always like go back and I'm always there. You know what I mean? But it was just one of those things where like I couldn't live there. And as I said, as far as my family structure, myself, my sister, my brother was always close. So I just felt like, this was better to come to Baltimore. And then again, Baltimore was just like wide open. There was nothing down here. You know what I mean? So
facts.
That's not why I try to stay in New York and compete with all these guys.
You can come and be a big fish in the
wall,
pond.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what ended up happening.
You're a genius. I just want you to know that. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Aries Lounge Podcast. Mike Mack is in the building. Let's go. This your boy JS Water Supplier, Aries Lounge Podcast, bbcradio.com. I'm in the building with the boss, one of the biggest bosses in the region. You know what I'm saying? Mike McIntosh. Brother, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Excuse me, I did not mean to burp on you. That was crazy. Oh, well, don't shoot me, please. Let's be civil about this. All right, so you decided, I'm going to move to Baltimore, I'm going to be with the family, I'm going to be the big fish in the small pond, I'm going to open up a studio. So, now, the first time I met you, you were in a house on the east side. I'm not going to give out details or whatever.
Everybody know the house, but
you know what I mean?
Keep it there.
Yeah, right. So was that the place?
No.
Where you said, okay.
We first started in Essex.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we was in Essex, off of Middle River Road, somewhere back there. I don't forget where it was.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was Luffing Court. I ain't gonna say the number, but it's Luffing Court.
Wow.
So if you know Essex, off of Luffing Court. We was in the basement, but we were still in production mode. We were still trying to be more like a production company.
Mm-hmm.
And
so were you like, let me find some artists and then we're going to develop them? Or were you just like, all right, let's make a bunch of beats and then sell them?
Yeah, we were still focusing on beats.
Mm-hmm.
And I was more trying to focus on just buying gear and have Naga just focus on the music.
Mm-hmm. So Nigel became the workhorse. So
he became extremely good at production, as far as also DJing.
Mm-hmm. I did not know Nigel was a DJ.
Yeah, he was nice on the one and two.
So what's his DJ name? He said DJ Najee Naj? What is it?
I don't know. That's a good question. we just
DJ
call him
Gold Nugget? I don't know.
We just call him Naj. I don't think Nigel wasn't really trying to DJ so much like rock a party. It was just more to get the essence of, you know what I mean?
Okay,
just,
how to make the songs blend, how to keep it with whatever's going on with the trend of music.
Because most producers is either they're gonna have a DJ background or they're gonna have a musical background.
That's a fact.
You know, one of the two. Yeah.
Okay, so what were the biggest accomplishments out of that encouraged you or made you happy? Did you actually get some major placements?
Out of the basement?
Yeah.
No, we kept on staying in touch with New York City, you know what I mean? Because I had a few little connects up there. I remember the name of the group now, King and I. That's what it was called. I think they was on. They got signed to a label that it was Dallas, Austin.
Did you just say Dallas, Austin?
Yeah, I think
out of Atlanta.
Yeah, he had a label, and I think King and I was signed to them. And they was from round the way, and I remember I had to connect with them, and that's how we was trying to get a few things in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you know, they never really blew up like that. You know what I'm saying? But from there, we just pretty much stayed focusing on you know, production, and I think we really tried to like harness our skills. We got real heavy into record collections and also just buying gear. And as a matter of fact, I had I think I had 2 jobs back then, maybe 3 on some Jamaican.
You really are Jamaican.
You know, just working one job, pay the bills, and the other 2 jobs or whatever. I was just buying gear because back then there was no software.
Facts.
You had to actually buy the gear. And another thing back then, all the gear was made for like everything other than rap music.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to pretty much.
It was big ass keyboards, Tritons, sound modules.
Yeah, we had to make up everything. Now, pretty much make the gear work for what we were doing. The breakthroughs were SP 1200 and you know the turntables, and other than that, you know, that was it. SP 1200, the turntables. MPC and the 4-track, Fostek 4-track.
Mm.
Because what we used to do is we used to take the 4-track, right? I only had 4 tracks.
Right, facts.
I don't know what these guys are doing now, but they only have 4 tracks, right? So you would take the SP1200 and it gave out, it had this thing in there, it gave out like a,
it was a MIDI
like a sound, yeah.
And you can sync the
you record it on, you record it on the track 4.
Right.
And then when you play back track 4, it would run the MPC, not MPC, but the SP1200. And that's how you, and then you only had 3 tracks for audio. So you got your lead and your hook and your ad-libs, and that's it. And you gotta get it on the first take. There's no punching in, there's no none of that. You gotta get it on the first take. And honestly, if you mess up, you really don't want to keep rewinding the tape back a whole bunch of time and doing it over. Because the more time you rewind the tape and then you keep doing it over and over, the more you like
it dilutes
the tape
itself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also when you're rapping, sometimes that MIDI signal is not that tight. It's tight, but it's not 100% tight.
Right.
So as a rapper, you have to know how to like adjust. Mm-hmm. And then the SP, it's not that accurate. That's why Premiere became so like famous, because it's not accurate. Like when you listen to a lot of Premiere stuff,
his shit is on point.
If you was to take a record and try to blend it, eventually it's gonna fall off because it's not really in sync. It's like live. You know what I mean? So,
but the way he would do it, it would never fall off. It would always.
No, I'm not talking about for us. His record.
Right.
No, that's what I'm talking about. If you took his instrumental,
right,
and think you're just gonna let it run and put something to it, and think he's just gonna stay with it, no, it's gonna end up falling off. You gotta keep pushing it and adjusting it to make it work.
That's insane.
Yeah, because I'm just talking about from like, you know, the Nelly Nell, you know, as far as like say Nelly Nell blending something, because that's another individual that I was, you know, highly involved with. You know what I mean? So
we want to get into that.
Yeah, we just talk about
you dropped the bomb on me.
We just talking about some whole other. So, but that's how we really started out in the basement. We really wasn't focusing on getting out there and stuff. We were, but we were really just trying to focus on our craft. Now, when we moved out of Essex and moved to the spot that everybody know, the house, the basement, where you come outside.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
The cameras outside.
Yeah. That's when we got into really trying to expand and you know, putting out records.
So from that point, did you start? All right. So from the basement is where all of your connections were starting to make for like you to produce all of these great, well, not produce, but more so just engineer and record. Yeah. So like, so people that don't know, like a lot of Tim Treasy's stuff was done at your studio. Yeah. My first time I met him was at your studio, where he told me that he wanted to be a carpenter and he was jealous of me because I was like, nigga, I want to be you. Like, what the hell is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? He was an amazing dude. He was a little crazy, but he was a good dude.
Tim Trees is a very good dude, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude right there.
You know, also you had Cabby the Don. I don't know if he was with you guys, but I know a lot of stuff came out through his, you know. Then you always, and we'll get back to the storyline in a second, but I always felt it amazing that you always had a fair balance of artists that were doing street music or pop culture music or, you know, whatever hip hop was doing. Y'all had Caddies, the Tim Tree, but then you would have the Ogoons. You'd have the underground artists, and yes, Ogoon was a rapper. He used to spit hot fire. The top 5 MCs in Baltimore was Ogoon, and Ogoon. So anyway, you know, you had the Ooh, you had Ogoon, you guys always used to have, but y'all would never intermix them. I don't know, it was never like, get Ogoon and Caddy on a record together. Maybe they didn't, I don't know. But I always admire the fact that you guys touched the underground and the commercial side. Where did that come from?
Well, let's get a few things straight. Most people, as I say, once again, like the average person that I know, they look at this business from an artistic standpoint. First and foremost, you have to understand I'm a businessman, period. That's the first thing you got to understand. Yeah. So I am just trying to create a product, and I'm trying to have a very competitive edge. and also just, you know, it's more than the studio. You know, it's just really trying to, you know what I mean, intertwine yourself within every artist that's really you think is going to take off. So a lot of individuals, like, they'll deal with the artist, and that's the first thing I learned in New York. You don't never talk to the artist. You talk to the manager. You talk to whoever's cutting the check. Because that's who really controls the show. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to as far as like the artists that were like coming out of that time frame, when an Ogun comes in my studio, I cater to Ogun. Mm-hmm. So if he wants incense, if he wants bottled water, if he wants, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, that's what we're gonna have.
Word. Was he in there with the slippers on and no socks and shit?
Yeah, he was the first Baltimore nigga I see with slippers.
Yo, I feel you. I can see that. No incense, because the speed was really spanking up the studio, you know, so you needed to. Yeah, I understand the balance.
And he was definitely passionate about what he was doing. And back then, he screamed a lot, and he always wanted the music extremely loud, and also he's very aggressive. And another thing, when I told him, I said, "You're gonna be deaf before your time," because he's a ride off from that house, man, with the music blasting. I'm like, yo, that dude gonna be deaf, man. Seriously. But that's just my man. That's my brother. But back to the artist. I don't believe that was my job, to have a Bossman and a Ogun on a record, because it's a delicate balance when you're dealing with egos and artists. You know, so it was just something I tried to like always swerve around and intertwine. You know, people like, oh, you know, such and such, get him on a record for me. You know what I mean? And I always tried to lean more towards, you know, okay, you're paying for a feature. If you're paying for a feature, then it's a business. Then I can make the connection. But as far as to get a bunch of people in the same room and we're going to sing, you know.
Kumbaya for free.
Nah.
It's just not doesn't make sense.
I try to stay away from that aspect of it.
Right. So what made you good at dealing with so many different personalities?
Because as I said, you know, you have to adjust to whatever the individual is.
A lot of times, men don't like to adjust. They feel like people should adjust to them.
Well, that's why I was extremely good at what I was doing. Because anybody that knows me and know when I'm in the studio, you know, Mike Mac is going to be Mike Mac. Like, I'm not high, I'm not low. I'm just always Mike Mac. I'm always just like, what you think? I don't know what you think. You know what I'm saying?
Those are your exact words to me. What do you think? You like it?
You know what I'm saying? You like it, I love it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Once you record it one more time. You know, if you're not sure, just get back in there.
Like, we're going to do it one more time, but because I feel like, you know, it's not my job to criticize your music. It's like a defense attorney. It ain't my job to figure out if you're guilty or not guilty. My job is to get you off. That's just my job. So as an engineer, that's just my job. Is to make this individual, whether he's talented or not, sound the best he ever sounded in his entire life when he sits down and records with me. That's just my job.
So at what point did the studio take off once you set it up? So you moved in, you got the equipment in there, you probably spent, how long did it take you to get everything together the way you wanted it to?
I don't know. That will, to get it together the way you want it to is a never-ending quest. You know, that's the tricky part about music and engineering and studio and art. You'll never get it right. You'll always forever be on this ever-ending quest. You know? There's a new module, you know what I mean? There's a new something, you know what I mean? Right. So you have to bring in the business aspect of it. While I'm chasing this dream, what is my balance sheet saying?
Right. So was it in the red when we opened up the doors, or Were you firmly in the black when you opened up the doors? Meaning in the red for those who don't understand. Red meaning were you in debt like a motherfucker up to your ears when you opened the door? Or were you good? Were you well off? When you were like, all right, cool, we just opened the studio, no big deal.
And for those who don't understand, that's the only time in American society, that's the only time black is anything positive. When you're in the black.
That's a fact.
In Wall Street, when you're in the black, you're making money. Any other reference to black is negative. But anyway, back on the musical tip. Yes, we was making money. And I was still working 2 jobs and building the studio. Now, got to the point when I got into Bossman, the Tim Trees, Julio Shalom, Ogun, Scar, DJ Radio. I started getting all these clienteles. And I think a lot of it was also the atmosphere that I set. I always had this thing about me, I need it clean, you know what I mean? I need candies or whatever, spray the mic down. I don't like being filthy, you know what I mean? I got this thing that, you know what I mean? You always gotta have this certain aura to it. I went to work one day and I used to work at Bed Steel, running a crane. Yeah, like show.
Did you say Bethlehem Steel?
Bethlehem Steel.
Working a crane?
Yes, I used to work from 11. I used to work from 11 because I got the job coming out of service.
Work.
So I used to work from 11 to 7 in the morning, and I would get off in the morning and like sleep till like 12 midday. Get up 12 midday and run the studio until I go back to work at 11. And the studio was jamming so much and making so much money that I used to never pick my checks up because by the time I leave out at 7, the boss, I can never forget his name to this day, McSweeney, he would get there. He was one of them white rednecks from out of Pittsburgh or something. He would get there around 9 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I ain't waiting for no check.
Facts.
So got to the point where like 4, 5, 6 checks was just sitting there. And back then, I think I was getting paid, Jesus.
You down Bethlehem Steel, you getting good $15, $20 an hour.
I think I was 17 and some change an hour. And that's a lot of money back then.
Back then in the 90s?
Yeah, you talk about overtime and all that nonsense.
He was getting paid.
But anyway, so he had this thing about like, what the hell is this little Negro doing? He ain't picking up his checks.
And you still coming to work.
He still coming to work. And one day, had this, I ain't gonna say this white boy on the job. Pretty much he didn't do his job, so I couldn't do my job. So I left out of there 7 in the morning. The foreman was like, yo, you gotta go finish that job up. I'm like, I'm not doing it because the guy wasn't there to do what he had to do, so I had to do. Left, went home. McSweeney called me, screaming, what the hell you doing? You should have finished up your shift. You the supervisor, yada, yada, yada. I said, look, man, you're on my time. If you want to talk, I can come back there and punch in. You're fired. You're fucking fired. You're fucking fired. Get out of here. And when I went back down there to pick up 10 checks, you didn't get paid every week or something. I probably had 8, 10 checks down there. Probably a stack a piece or whatever the hell it was. And, you know, the foreman was like, oh, you know, you can get your job back. And I said, I'll think about it. And I went home and my phone rang. And I think it was Bossman. Like, yo!
Northeast Kings.
Yeah, and he came.
He came.
Yo, they told me some shit. I gotta get into that. But he was like, yo! I need the studio from like Wednesday to Monday. We're gonna bring you the money right now. I was like, all right. Cause never went back to work.
From Wednesday to Monday.
Monday.
So
12-hour sessions.
No, wait a minute, hold on. You got to slow down, bro. So was this before Off the Record? So was this the genesis?
Yeah.
Was this like these sessions the genesis of that project?
Coming up to that, and I made that happen. The whole Bossman's entire career, not entire, but when he really took off, yeah, that's definitely. I was behind that. I was definitely behind that, man.
Shout out to you, nigga.
That's my man right there, man.
I feel like that, and because I use this when I teach like classes for young artists, and I remember when he came up into prominence, I teach these kids. I said, I remember Bossman hit me at 4 points in one day. Meaning, I was down there in the harbor, nigga pulled up on me in the caddy. Yo, I got this Bossman tape. Give me $2.
Yeah.
They didn't want 10, they didn't want 15. And then I leave from downtown, I go to Montgomery Mall.
Yeah.
Nigga, another person pulls up. Skirt.
Yeah.
Yo, I got this new Bossman. And I'm like, but I got this one. They like, but you ain't got this one. And then they give me that.
Yeah.
I go to Patapsco Flea Market, same day. Skirt. Another dude pulls up.
Yeah, they taught me a lot, man. Bossman, the one who taught me how a rapper should put a record together.
Facts.
Yeah, and as far as street team, any kid taught me that, and they taught me a lot. And then another individual that was on the team was Kid, which was Cisco's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought a lot of industry knowledge to the actual team.
Mm-hmm.
They were ruthless, and they did some underhanded stuff. Nothing.
Yeah, you know, but just some grimy nigga shit.
Nah, they didn't do grimy nigga shit. They were just a little bit more aggressive and ruthless than I was accustomed to.
More was worse than Ogun?
They ain't nowhere close to Ogun.
Okay, see? I mean,
Ogun is
he got you prepared.
Ogun is the people's champion. But other than that, that's when the studio took off. That's when it took off, and that's when I was in the basement 24/7, banging it out. No kids, no life. I don't go out. I don't party. When I go to the bar, I just buy everybody drinks, and I go home. And that's what I used to do. Just when I'm at the bar, I just open up a tab and buy everybody drinks, just for like supporting the studio. You know what I mean?
Word.
And I would go home and just work.
When you took off, man, I would give you money if you was getting me drunk. I need to go to that nigga studio. Like. So, all right, how long did it take for y'all to complete the Bossman, what became the first Bossman album?
Some of the records were done elsewhere, and I remember I recorded a few of them. And I remember Nigel did 2 tracks on there. And what happened, they took it to Omega to try to get it mastered. But being niggas, they was late. Then, being white people down there, they don't play that late shit. Couldn't get done. Had a release date, I think, for the next day or something.
What?
Yeah.
So how were they going to print CDs in time?
No, they wasn't printing. They was going full distribution. So they came, when all them CDs you was getting in the streets, that's what I was doing. That's a whole nother story, Bossman.
Right.
I'll tell you how he got me into the duplication game. But anyway, so the thing is, they came to the studio after they went to Omega to go get it mastered. That fell apart. They came back the same day. It was like 10 o'clock at night, something like 11 o'clock at night. We had to put the album back together. I did the best mastering job I could. Then he went out. You know what? It was in the morning. It was in the morning. I think he came back to the crib like 3 in the morning or something like that. And he went out. I remember he went outside. He made a phone call, and that was the intro. I recorded it. We put it together. The intro. We put the whole thing together. I mastered it. He took the master, sent it off. It got pressed up. It came back. They put it in the stores. The shit took off, and he got signed a Virgin. And that's pretty much how it went.
So let me tell for those who don't know the intricate details. So he actually got distribution through Unruly, right?
Yes.
Sean Caesar and what you call it at the time? God.
Scotty.
Thank you, Scotty B.
That's my they're all
right.
People.
They're partners. They were partners on Unruly Records. So they did, from my understanding, Bossman. They also did Mully Man around the same time.
I was also very instrumental in
that's why they all sounded good.
My peoples. I really truly believe she would have been something else if she never died. And that was K-Swift.
Wow.
That was something I was extremely involved into. Yeah.
Okay. And that was just helping her put the records together?
No, not necessarily. Remember, I'm always a businessman.
Okay.
So she would bring me the final product, but I'm the one who really put it together.
Utilize your connections to connect the dots.
Yeah, and as far as even on the manufacturing side of it, 'cause that's when I was heavy on the manufacturing. I had that game on lock, and I really, put her. I was behind it, big time. I ain't gonna, but I was behind case of Money Man. I never really did anything with Money Man. Money Man problem was, I think my brother being the jigabon that he is. What's the word? Jigaboo? Jigabon?
Jigaboo?
What? What? Like, I don't know. Whatever. Somehow signals got crossed. We're Money Man. We ain't cool.
Right.
So that's what it was.
Right.
That's why some people don't end up in the studio, which is 1 out of 100.
Facts.
We're gonna say don't go there. But I really don't give a damn. But you know what I mean? That's what it ended up being. Read between the lines, and then and it was all nonsense, which it always is.
Facts.
But that's how that ended up being, where we never really worked with Money Man, but everybody else around Money Man we was cool with.
Word.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thing. So we'll be right back. Y'all keep it locked. Aries Lounge Podcast. Mike Mac is spilling the beans. This is an amazing day for me, bro. Like, y'all have no idea. Keep it locked. Let go.
Put it on a scale, do numbers. Put it on a scale, do numbers. Put it on a scale, do numbers. Play with them keys, piano. 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 Put it on a scale, do numbers. Put it on a scale, do numbers. Put it on a scale, do numbers. Put it on a...
It's your boy JS1 Supplier, Aries Lounge Podcast, BBC Radio. I have got the legend in the building, the biggest boss of them all, and now I have called him the leader of the Illuminati. We'll call him the Grand Dragon of the Underground. Mike Mac is in the building. Broski, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You good? All right. So before the last break, you mentioned something about getting into CD duplication. Mm-hmm. All right. So Bossman was the reason why you got into it.
Yes. Bossman called me up and he ordered like 100 CDs or something like that. And back then you had to like burn the CDs, and then you got to do the stomper thing. You put the paper on it,
Mm-hmm.
Put it on there. About 2-3 hours later, he hit me back. I need 1,000, and he brought the cash and dropped it off. And I'm looking at this dude, and me being a man, I don't back down from my challenges. I'm like, shit. So I'm looking at this guy. I had a 2-burner, meaning 1 master and 2 burners.
Wow.
Back then, that thing was like, Jesus Christ, $3,000. You know what I mean? Burning CDs was
not crazy high. They were crazy high back then.
But it was getting that bank back then, so I had one, So I remember I went to wherever it was selling CDs at the time, probably Best Buy or something, bought the CDs, burnt them, put the labels on them myself, 1,000 units, and that was the single, Off the Record, or whatever the single was. Was it Off the Record? I think it was Off the Record. Land of the Old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Land of the Old. Land of the Old.
That was a long time ago.
Land of the Old. And I put the labels on them, burnt 1,000 on them, the whole 9 yards. And I think I started around 10, maybe 10 o'clock at night. And when I got done, it was like 5:30 in the morning. And he was at my door, 6 o'clock, picking them up.
Wow.
Them dudes was like animals. They were serious animals. They street teams. It was Bossman, Dollars, Heavy Gold. Bossman, Dollars.
Shout out to Heavy Gold.
Yeah, Bossman, Dollars, Heavy Gold, Doc, Mark Whitney.
Wow.
And who was the other guy? Kid. And I know I'm forgetting somebody.
These are Baltimore legends, by the way.
Yeah, it was another person. And even to this day, you ride around the city, you still see some NEK stickers.
Yes, you will.
On poles somewhere.
That's definitely a fact. They are old as hell. They are getting faded like one. But I don't know what y'all printed it on, but it lasted.
That shit's still out there.
Man.
Yeah, but that's what got me into the and then right then and there, I told my brother, I said, this is the next move. This is the next move. And that's how Nigel got into engineering.
Because you were so busy, doing the printing and conducting business.
I couldn't control the
Right.
clientele anymore, and then Nigel started fading into the engineering part of it.
Right.
Now, after that, the next day, I went out and bought more burners, more everything. And then after that, Scar came to the studio, and back then I used to call him Kevin Homeboy or Kevin Boy, something like that. Scar and his boy. I remember Scar never used to record in the big booth that I had. He used to record in the little booth where it was like 100 degrees in there. And Scar is the one who had me change the booth from the little one to the big room, because the big room we had the records in there. And eventually we just threw the mic in there, and just, the acoustic was crazy because the records was in there and everything was in there, and we had some foam and all that, but it was just crazy. But anyway, Scar was the one who had me change that because he kept bitching, talking about he was hot and shit. But anyway, so my point now is Scar came to me one afternoon and he was like, yo, I gotta do this intro. I'm like, what the fuck for? Niggas last minute everything. So we did the intro for radio. So I'm like, who the hell is this radio? I never heard of the guy before.
Right.
He's like, yo, it's one of my little homie over Morgan. He got DJ, he made a mixtape. I'm like, all right, cool. But I did it, and me being a businessman, I said, I want to meet this guy. He said, all right, cool. So he called radio. Radio came slam over. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He had a bunch of mixtapes. He's like, yo, this is my mixtape, this D Block and that. And all right, give me 2 of them. I bought 2 of them, popped them in, riding around, listening to them. I'm like, okay, all right. And then I linked up with him like, yo, so how you putting these things out? Then he told me how he was putting them out, what he was doing. I said, man, that shit's dinosaur. You know what I mean? So we got together, and the very next mixtape he put, and I never charged him. I said, because I saw the vision. You know what I mean? And I said, yo, this is what we need to do. And we got together, we put the mixtape, he'll come in, talk over the music, leave. I'm the one who found the Mr. Sold Out, the drops, all that stuff. No, he got a couple of them made.
Right.
But I'm the one who really got the rewind. I put it all together, and then it went back to my Dr. Dre days, where like, nah, this shit has to be like
perfect,
continuously. And when it dropped, he like took off.
That's crazy.
And then from there, man, we was dropping a tape a week.
Really?
Like it was like on. D Block was calling everybody, all the way down to, a lot of people don't know radio put Trey Songz on. Yeah, radio was the reason why Trey Songz like blew up.
I did not know that at all. That's lit.
And it got to the point radio got so damn lazy, man, he would just come in there, talk over it. Mike, you got it. But everything was a deadline.
Right.
You got to, because back then you got to put it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Before somebody else gets to the record and put it out first. Right.
And that's where I got the nickname Mr. Under 24.
I never knew that one.
Yeah.
That's lit.
That's the nickname I got, Mr. Under 24. Radio gave me that because by the time, say for instance it's 5 p.m., by the time he would come in and we'd do the record or do the mixtape, and it's always over the place. You gotta edit records, you know how that shit goes. Shit coming from everywhere.
Facts.
I'm waiting on records from some, Clue or somebody, and I would deliver it the next day. You know what I mean?
You just
So
went to sleep.
That's how I was. We never slept over there, man. That's how I was.
That's insane.
And that's how that game took off. And then from there, I don't know if you still want me to really get into that.
Well, I had one question. I was like, how did y'all generate? How was your income generated? Was it all right? You sold the CDs in bulk at the time, and then that's how you made a return on it, or was it? Because I can see how Bossman do it. They literally took their own shit and then sold it on their own. But you ain't got time to be sitting around doing that. And radio don't have time to sit out there on the corner selling CDs. So how did y'all? Was there like a mixtape distribution or something?
Yes. They were like, you had dudes that were like from down south. Say he called up his connects in Atlanta, and they would, one store would take 500, next store takes 200, this, that. They would just take bulks. And he would just ship them out $2 a piece, $3 a piece. They're selling them for $5, $10, and all that.
Right.
On my end now, what happened was I was burning the CDs and manufacturing them and putting the sticky labels on them. And then radio said to me, we need to go to New York. You know what I mean? Because I think include them and all that, doing it differently.
Right.
So when we went to New York, of course, nobody really trying to talk to you. And I saw a couple Clue mixtapes, because Clue was big back then.
Yeah.
And then when I saw they had this ink on it, and I just saw how the whole thing was set up, I'm like, yo, how the hell they get this stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Then we got turned on to this Korean lady, and say for instance back then you was buying CDs for like say $100 for 100. You know what I mean? It was that expensive back then.
It was actually way more expensive.
You know what I mean?
It was more like $3 for 100.
You know what I mean? So and then what happened is I started buying from her in bulk. Mm-hmm. So the next thing now was one day I was in there buying CDs. We went up, because we used to go up every week, me and Radio, go up every week and get bulk. And because now I was doing radio, I was doing Bossman. You know, Bossman was flooding the street. Right. I was doing DTLR. I was doing Shoe City. I was doing, nigga, I was from, once you left out of Jersey mm-hmm. to Virginia, I had a whole section on lock. Wow. Now, here comes the issue. I was in the Korean lady one time, and I was getting maybe like 30,000 CDs. You know, we loaded them up in, I had a big truck back and all that. And then this African dude came in and he ordered 100 CDs and he got it for the same price. It's like, what? Nah, something ain't right. So anyway, I left out of there and I'm looking at radio. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, man. I just started treating it like one of my past lives. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta get this product cheaper. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get this product cheaper. So then it was like, I'm like, gotta be somebody. Then I heard through the grapevine this person's name. So one day me and Radio was like, look, you know what? This is a weekend or whatever day, we weren't doing nothing. Let's ride up to New York. We rode up to New York and we rode around New York all day long. Riding into spots all through Harlem, just asking for this person. And finally we ran into somebody that pointed us to somebody. Then when we landed in the person's office, we're like, you such and such? I was like, yeah, how you know? I was like, oh, we've been looking for you all day. Oh yeah? What do you need? We need some CDs. Then how much you talking? I said, I'm figuring I need about 30,000 a week. Person looked at me like, what the hell are you doing, bootlegging? I said, nah, we ain't bootlegging. Nah, explain my situation. Mm-hmm. I said, how much can you do 30,000 a week for? And then they wrote a number down, they pushed it across the table. I looked at it, I looked at Radio, and the rest was history. Wow. The rest was history. It got to the point we was doing like 80,000 to 100,000 a month. In CDs. That's insane. Per month. Used to come to the house, man. You couldn't even walk to the front door. It was boxes all over the place. So that's how we ended up moving to Harvard Road. We outgrew that. It was boxes in my room, in my kitchen. It was boxes all over the place.
Jesus Christ. So how long were you able to have that run? Because, CDs crashed, like it died probably 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we had a good 7-year run. It was a while. It was a long run. 10 years maybe.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah, a long run.
That's crazy.
And then what also helped the connect that I met, they ran everything.
Right.
So now it was like the mob. It was kind of like, all right, now once you come out of New Jersey, you got to deal with Mike.
Right.
Anything past New Jersey, they don't, from Delaware on down to Virginia, I control that. Mm. So like North Carolina, South Carolina on down, they would take that back over.
Right.
So anybody in that region, you had to go to Mike.
That's insane.
And that's how it worked.
So this puts you in a powerful position to you know, you're talking about DTLR, you're talking about Shoe City. These are the major players that finance the art, they finance the community.
Yeah.
This makes you a very influential individual behind the scenes. And you're good at staying off the radar, which makes a lot of executives happy. You know what I mean?
True.
What becomes the logical step after that? You know what I mean? Like,
Logical step after that, we got to go back to square one. What my first girlfriend father told me, you always got to be the landlord. You got to own it. So what ended up happening, I took all that money and we bought Harford Road, renovated Harford Road, and put the studios in there.
mm-hmm.
And from there, we had another run. That's where Nigel took off.
Mm.
You know, so now Nigel started pushing out the caddies, I did 100 Grand Man,
Mm-hmm.
and I did Moose. That's a whole other story.
Really?
Because Moose showed up on my step out of jail, broke as hell, and he used to pay me $30 a song. And I used to charge $45 an hour. But something about Moose, he would come in there and he would record the song in 30 minutes, and I would mix it in 30 minutes, and he would walk out the door. That's how me and Moose started out. And Dum Dum, to be honestly, he recorded the record, he went downstairs, and his homeboy was in the booth joking around. Because I'm trying to mix the record. And you know, he always got somebody in the crew that trying to rap.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes back in the booth and just start messing around, and I'm trying to mix, but the mic is on, and he in there, dummy. And I'm like, what the hell, this nigga don't get the fuck out of the booth, you know what I mean? So I kept on working, but as I'm working, and the record is running, I'm trying to keep doing it. I'm like, oh shit, I bought it back, and I just started recording it. Oh, that shit hard. I put it in there, boom, 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 chopped it up. When I played it back, he said, oh shit, yo. And I said, nah, you know, keep doing it, yo. And I put it together. The rest is history. That's how Moose blew up. I'm saying, that's how Moose blew up.
I give
Real shit.
I give up, nigga. Like,
That's
I
how
give
Moose
up.
blew up, man.
When I say the Illuminati, I was real. I was real, nigga.
Yeah, that's
I had no fucking clue.
Yeah, that's how Moose blew up. And I'm telling you, man, Moose used to hang out with Baltimore Ray. And he used to come there just as their homeboy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got locked up. He showed up at the studio. I'm coming out the studio one time, just come on the front step. I'm like, what the fuck is up? Fuck. He's like, oh, nah, such and such, and you come out with it. Oh, what's up, bro? Nah, yo, I just came back home, and da-da-da-da-da. Like, all right, cool. And then he was like, you know, I only got like $30, yo. I need to record real quick. I'm like, shh. Session and canceled. Like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I mean? Went up there. Now, always like Moose, man. Street nigga as he is, man. I fucks with that nigga, yo.
He's a
Like,
cool
yeah, man. I don't know what his energy is out there, but I'm telling you, when he's in the studio, man, it's like
he's just like you.
Yeah,
he's quiet.
yeah,
he don't do a whole lot of talking.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll let you know that he's listening. He'll drop a little joke here and there or whatever. Like,
I fucks with Moose, man.
Yeah,
Real heavy.
y'all have
beyond the music, man. I fucks with that dude, man.
Word. That's crazy. So Naj is the one that kind of brought Caddy the Dawn to the forefront, and like what makes Naj make a decision on somebody like these legends?
Well, things happen, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we at Harford Road, you know, the recession happened, you know what I mean? Things happen. It's just life, you know what I mean? So we had to adjust. Nigel was pretty much in a situation where, you know, the studio was going through a rough patch. Just the whole brand was going through a rough patch.
Right.
And speaking of the brand, architects, you know, the name really comes from Nigel. Back then in Essex, we was going to call it Boondocks Recording. That was my choice. And Nigel said, hell no. That should sound corny as a motherfucker. We going to call it architects. Nigga, we building this shit. And we went with architects. And
that's what he said for real?
Yeah, and it's been architects since then.
Yo, there's a lot of spirituality in the name. You know what I'm saying? And even that statement, because
and that's how it's been since then. And then,
wow.
As far as Caddy, 100 Grand Man, Wet, I did that one. 100 just showed up at the studio with a bag of money and be like, yo, I want to rap. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga? You know what I mean? And then he's in the booth, really don't know his words, tripping over himself. I coached him through a few things here and there. We put it together, mixed it, put it out, and the next thing I know, this nigga blew up. He 100-grand man. You know, everybody think he's God. That's my man. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about when he locked up. I'm talking about sending him money, sending him books, right to this dude. That's my man.
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
Yeah, that's Nelly now.
Yeah,
I think Nelly Nell is one of the most. I just dream. I think about like where that dude would be if he never got locked up.
Mm. You don't feel like he's got an opportunity now? You know what I'm saying? Like he just dropped a project.
No.
He came out with a lot of energy. No. So what would you make? What would you?
The reason why. Let me clear that up.
Right, yeah.
Nelly Nell is extremely talented, and I love Nelly Nell to death. In order to make money in today's society, you have to have a team. You have to know how to monetize off what we call information. It's not about talent anymore or what Nelly Nell is doing. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody has to be in Nelly Nell camp to be able to develop him as a brand. Mm-hmm. Facts. You know what I'm saying? When Nelly Nell drop, the Nelly Nell's influence right now is so great, he needs to have it where his fucking mixtapes, if I could cuss, needs to be pre-ordered before he drops.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
He needs to be having like 500,000, I don't know what numbers he's doing, but he needs to have like 1,000, 1,500, 2,500 pre-orders before he drops.
Agreed.
Once he gets to that stage, then I know whoever's behind him, they know what the fuck they doing.
Facts.
Then when he drop, cool. Press up some mixtape because you still do have a lot of fans that want to get at it that way. But other than that, if he doesn't embrace that part of it, he's still. I don't think he'll reach the potential that Nelly Nell needs to reach.
Agreed.
Cause that man is a genius, man. Mm-hmm. But that's just my 2 cents when it comes to Nelly Nell.
No, I appreciate
that dude right there, man.
So let's go back to another individual who was a troublemaker for you. So how did you and Ogun link up? Like.
Well, I can't remember how me and Ogun linked up, because I met Scar through Ogun.
Okay. So
I think Ogun just like popped up at my door one day or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That is really weird.
Yeah, niggas do that shit all the time. So Ogun was one of the early persons that popped up at my, you know what I mean? Somehow, I can't remember. He probably was recommended to somebody. He popped up. We started working. He definitely was weird as shit. No disrespect intended. He definitely was weird because it was the type of music I just never, you know what I mean? It was out of my wheelhouse. But then he turned me on like, ooh, and that whole vibe right there. But Ogun was one of the few artists that gave. See, everybody else took. But Ogun was one of the few people that gave.
What do you mean? What does that mean? When you say gave?
Meaning,
like he was coming and bringing you chicken wings or some shit like that?
No. Everybody bring chicken wings and some alcohol. I mean, he gave meaning like he was always concerned about your well-being. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, is it benefiting you? Is it, you know, I'm about to do a show, how can you benefit from it? You know, I'm about to, I know somebody that needs to do something, you can benefit from it, and he never looked for anything. You know what I mean? He never wanted anything, never looked for anything. There's no hidden agendas. You know, with Bossman, there's always a hidden agenda. Like, just get real. With Bossman, I love that dude to death. That's my nigga. Always a hidden agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
I mean, his name is Bossman. He can't help it.
He went to Travis, then he went back to Bossman.
I hated the Travis phase. We had a big argument about it.
No, I think it was just everybody goes through a phase. But then, you know, but the thing now is with Ogun now, it evolved beyond music, because it became personal where, you know, sometimes these conversations go beyond just music. You know, we sitting around just talking. And he was one of the few individuals that I would like hang out with. Like we at somewhere and we just, you know, we talking, we hanging out.
Word.
You know what I mean? And then another reason why I think me and him was cool, because a lot of people don't know I'm not really a street nigga. I'm not a hood nigga. You know what I mean? Like I just never grew up like that. Facts. You feel what I'm saying? So, as I say, once again, don't take nothing wrong. But you know what I'm saying? Like a lot, Ogun was probably one of the few people I could like relate to. Because he knew how to separate himself from music. A lot of these guys don't know. They always stay in character, you know what I mean?
That is very true.
So I know Ogun the brother, and I know Ogun the rapper. I'm sorry, I know Kevin Beasley, and I know Ogun. I call him Ogun Latte, but that's just me.
Did you just say Ogun Latte?
That's just me. That's not.
You're done, though.
That's just my
Ogun Latte? From now on. Ogun Latte. All right, so look, we about to take another break. Don't go nowhere. Y'all keep it locked. This is an amazing lifestyle interview, man. Mike Mac is in the building. Aries Now Podcast. We'll be right back. Let's go. Aries Lounge Podcast, VBCRadio.com. We're back in the building. I've got the Grandmaster of Hip Hop, the big boss himself, Mike Mac, is in the studio, and he seems to be doing well. You blew my mind with a whole bunch of these stories. I did not know how. You know how like you meet people and you're like, yo, I know this dude is doing something, but I had no clue like how deep you gotten and everything. So let's do this. Like you've created a phenomenal brand. You have launched the careers of so many artists, and subsequently because of that, you have a whole generation of children who look up to the Mooses and this person and that person. But it seems like you've transitioned, because I haven't seen you in, you know, ARS in a while. You know what I mean? It's been some time. So like, at what point did you feel like, yo, it's time for me to step back? Was it because you wanted to give it to Naj, or was it because you had other ambitions? Like, what? Give me the thought process.
It was a few things. You know, Blue got into a situation, and it presented an opportunity to step out of the seat for a second. And at the same time, life takes a turn where, you know, your kids, you know, show up at your doorstep, you know what I mean? And, you know, you have to take on that responsibility. And then also, I truly believe you just got to listen to what the man above is telling you, because he does certain things and push you in certain ways for a reason. The reason why a lot of other individuals don't progress is because I believe you always got to be evolving.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? You always got to be evolving. If you get up next year and you're doing the same thing, then you have a big problem.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't, you know, there's no way I could continuously sit in that chair. You know what I mean? And keep recording. It's like, you know, I mean, I could. There's people that do it, but me personally,
that's unrealistic, because your value as a leader grew to where, like, the person in that chair is supposed to get $15,000, $20 an hour. Your value is, you know, $1,000 an hour. So, you know, your skill set is better suited somewhere else, not sitting in a chair.
And then, you know, being again, you know, a lot of people say boss. I look at it like, I like the word entrepreneur. Because I believe an entrepreneur is just a person. I tell my kids all the time, all it is you find a problem, you solve it, you put a cheap price on it, and you also put value on it, and you just serve it to the masses. That's all it really is. Just find a problem, you know what I mean? Don't reinvent the wheel. Mike Mac did it already. All you gotta do is just study what Mike Mac did and just do it better. Make it go faster, make it stop, you know, on a dime, whatever, you know what I mean? And another thing a lot of people don't understand, and I'm a very giving person. Like, I don't think there's an artist that I've ever recorded, there may be a few. The one thing all of them could say about me when they come out that booth is like, damn, I learned something from that dude. And that was always my drive. Yeah, we're recording. You know what I mean? And 10%, they don't want to hear shit. They just want to record, get the fuck out of my face, give me my record. And that's cool. But the majority of them dudes, man, done from the thuggest of thuggest. Cause I'm telling you, when I used to hear about dudes like, yo, this nigga's a gangster, I'm like, who the fuck you talking about? Like, cause I don't see that nigga in the booth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking from the KG to the, man, there's so many names right now, man. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Well, see, but that's there when they're at their most vulnerable. Because they're...
And that's when I try to interject to them. Mm-hmm. It's more to life than just, you sitting there talking about you can blow somebody's brains out. I mean, it's entertaining. I like it. But what else is there to like? You know what I mean?
Facts.
And that's pretty much it. And I believe we as black people, we are financially illiterate. And it's something I've struggled with my life. And I've tried all my life to educate myself, and whoever's around me, I try to educate them as far as when it comes to finances. Because all finances is just a vehicle to, create a lifestyle that you want.
Agreed.
That's all it really is.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Because Burger King and Chick-fil-A, or McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, I should say, make the same damn profit. It's just different products.
So how did you find your way into financial literacy? Like, what journey did you have to take to get to that point? Did you, go to college, or did you take some classes or something?
They don't teach that stuff in college.
They really don't.
They don't. And I think what ended up happening was, let me see when finance really became important to me. Okay, I know what it is. I came out of the house. Everybody know the house. You know what I mean? If you ain't been to the house, you don't know Baltimore music. You know what I'm saying? So, anybody that came to the house, I came out of the house, went to the studio over Hartford Road. I bought that, and that was one of my principles. We had to own the building. And that's another reason why we outlasted everybody, because we actually owned it. You know what I mean? So moving on from there, I had some personal things that happened that took me from, say, clocking 700 a year, and I took a nosedive. You know what I mean? AKA don't get married. You know what I mean? So beyond that, it was just, that's when I realized, how the fuck can a man make all this money? But yet, it was something that was just missing. You know what I mean? Because I still had to get up every day
and work your ass off.
And I just couldn't understand it. And that was all the old 05, 06, 07, when the whole world was crashing. Right. And Jeezy put out the recession and all that. One of my favorite artists, you know what I mean? But that's when I realized, I'm not doing something right. And that's when I just started back over from scratch. And rebuilt it. Myself, not, company. Company was doing what it was doing.
Right.
But I just had to rebuild myself. And we've been through some rough times, and that's why I said, my man sitting over there, old Goon, man, that should go way beyond music, man. He was there through some dark times. But, people see the limelight. They see all the artists. And that's for any artist, too. Mm-hmm. Any artist that out here doing anything, people just see him on, they see the end product. Mm-hmm. Like Blue, once he takes off, people gonna see the end product. They don't see the
massive amount
of work
Yeah.
that went into that. So, as far as the transition, and my kids have a lot to do with it. You know what I mean? Because as I said, they showed up at my door one day. I'm like, hey, we need to move in, nigga. Move over. You know what I'm saying? And that was pretty much it.
Hey, where you going? We coming in.
And the reason why most people, the reason why nobody really seen me is just, I've been a full-time dad for the past 4 years now. 4 years? Yeah, nigga, sandwich every morning, homework, all that crazy shit.
Nice.
Pick up, drop off. And I still run the business. And I started another business, you know what I mean? So that's just how I get down.
So you got a streaming service like Tidal and Spotify? Like, what's going on?
Nah.
Well, you had one back in the day. You had that mixtape.
We forgot about all B1 Hip Hop.
I don't want to get in trouble with the show producer. We were supposed to close with just you, but it's good. It's good. I'm just playing around.
I forgot about all B1 Hip Hop.
That was a genius idea, man.
I be forgetting shit, yo.
All B1 Hip Hop.
You know what's so funny, man? Let's close on Mike Mac, yo. I'm gonna tell you, it's just an entrepreneur thing.
Mm-hmm.
We like to create.
Mm-hmm.
We just like, I like taking something out of thin air and put it together. And when it's all said and done, like, damn, I'm just give it away. You know what I mean? Go make another one. So it's the same thing like my man over there. You know what I mean? We going through something right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing for my man, Mino Ogun Latte, you know what I'm saying? Well, and what I'm doing right now for him is priceless. But that's my man. For me to put it together for him and to see him achieve it, man, that shit brings so much. I don't want to get teary-eyed.
So we finally gonna get the album 2018, the Ogun
album. This is
beyond. It's beyond that.
Beyond rap, man.
Man, I thought he was gonna get that Beyonce verse, man. I thought he was gonna.
No, this is beyond music, man. This is beyond music. For me to sit there and help that man put that together and bring it all together and walk him through it, looking over his shoulder, making sure he signed where he needs to sign and everything is perfect, and send him on his way.
We talking about Mayor Ogun.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's you know what I mean? It's that's what I live for.
Word.
That's what I live for. And anybody that knows me, man, every time you talk to me, I'm always about, nigga, what the fuck are you doing to get your shit up and running? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What we doing? Mm-hmm. Next day I see, what's up with that? Mm-hmm. Like me and you talking on a daily basis? Mm-hmm. All right. So you was at, how many views you at? 1,000? So we're gonna get 2,000. Mm-hmm. Next time I talk to you, why you ain't at 2,000? Mm-hmm. That's just always my vibe. Fact. Okay, you need to do this, and this, and this. And if a week later, you ain't doing it, I just cut my phone off. I don't talk to you no more. God damn. Because obviously you don't want it bad enough. Facts. And that's all it is. You know what I mean?
What's up? So wait a minute, before you cut your phone off, are you at least going to give some advice before you cut the phone off?
I done gave you that advice.
Okay, good.
Meaning like, most people don't want it. Mm-hmm. When a lot of these rappers come into the studio talking about, I want to get signed, yeah, nigga, you don't want that shit. Mm-hmm. Listen, man, let me tell you how this shit works. Okay? If you get up in the morning and you say you want to be a rapper, and your homeboy calls you and say, yo, let's go smoke, how's that going to make you a rapper?
It's not.
Scratch it. The bitch call you, I ain't see you in 2 days. I need you to come over here, I need some dick. How's that going to make you a rapper?
It's not.
It's that simple. It's that simple. When you look at Lil Wayne, the nigga lives in the studio.
That's a fact.
Like, you gotta be like these squeegee niggas out here. When you get your fucking window squeegee and you get that nigga $1, did you really want it?
No.
My point exactly. That's how you gotta be as a rapper.
That's a fact.
That's how you gotta be. Most people don't want that shit, man.
That's a fact.
And then, here comes the catcher. Once you get that part of it right, the second part of it, you have to understand, it's not about rap.
It's about business.
It's about business. When you get that $1 for the CD, that $10 for the CD, the $5 for the CD, what are you doing with it? Mm-hmm. Most niggas don't reinvest that shit.
Nope. They spend that shit.
My point exactly. But as far as, I'm concerned, right now, as I said, I got a few other things that I'm working on. As far as just, building another business, which is going pretty good. You know, so if you got any houses for sale, no, I'm kidding you. I'm beyond houses right now. But anyway, my kids, man. I live and die by my kids. I get up every day, and that's what I do. And you know, a lot of dudes say they fathers, and to them that's just dropping off some child support, or because some dudes still do that. They just go drop some bread off. Or they get the money taken out and they say, I'm a full-time father, or, they have the kid Wednesday and every Saturday, whatever the hell. You know what I mean? Nah, nigga. 24/7. Lockdown. For my training day. 24/7 lockdown, no rec time. That's what the fuck I do. So if you don't see me, that's all it is. I'm just taking care of my kids. And that's what my heart is right now. And my business, architects, or the real estate business that I'm building, it revolves around my kids. So if I get up in the morning after I deal with them, any other time after that, I deal with my business. If it don't have nothing to do with business, I'm back to my kids. Other than that, I stay the fuck away from niggas. And as I say, one thing I have to say is, and I'm going to put that out there, but the average person will never, what's the word I'm looking for? Take me up on it. Because everybody thinks it's just this easy fucking, I just do it and it happens overnight. I am a wealth of knowledge, man. I know a lot of shit, business-wise, and just running a business studio, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's all the same shit.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And I always tell people, reach out to me, man. I'll tell you how to do that shit. But most people just don't want to put the work in. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Well, that they don't have your phone number. It's not like there's a place where we can just, I don't have your phone number. If I did, I'd call you.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I always believe that if you want to get something done, you're going to find a way.
That's a fact.
Nobody is unreachable.
That's a fact.
Nobody.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So, if you want to reach me, you'll reach me. And I ain't an IG nigga, so don't, you know what I'm saying? So,
I ain't no IG nigga.
I do got one. I ain't probably been on that bitch in 10 years, but anyway, that's that.
All right, so to wrap it up, is there anything you want to, is there anything you want to, any great knowledge that you want to bestow on the closing? Come on, yo, have your Buddha moment. Have your Jesus, come to Jesus in the hip hop game moment.
Just remember, it's something that I stumbled across a while ago, you know what I mean? You're born alone, you live alone, and you die alone. So it's only through friends, families, your loved ones, and your kids that you create this illusion that you're not alone. You know what I mean? So just hold them close to you, because the rest of this shit don't matter.
That's a fact.
And that's pretty much all there is to it. We walk away from here right now, we may never see each other again. You might get a text, yo, died. You know what I mean? So that's just all there is to it, man.
Thanks for killing me off.
It's all good.
All right, so
welcome.
I got one thing I have a question. This will be my final question of the day.
No problem.
Do you know how much you've affected the entire...
No, as an entrepreneur, you don't think about that stuff. Like when Steve Jobs or any of these dudes, Elon Musk, or any of these dudes out here, Barry Gordon, whoever you want to pick, Bob Marley, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you know what you're doing, but you don't know the effect. Ogun says that shit to me all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'm not necessarily saying that you shouldn't know or you should, but this whole... I had a very short, very small interaction with you. And it had a very big impact on how I approach things. Just all based off of the statements that you made when I was there about, hey, you're going to mix this right. You got to do this. But just off down, let's step back to the greater part of it. every artist that you mentioned that took off has affected how every artist after that creates.
But we don't own anything. As human beings, not trying to get into some old, author. We don't own anything. Okay? We're just stewards. We're just passing it on to the next generation. So I understand what you're saying. Ogun says that to me all the time. Do you know the impact that you have on people? Because the statement you just made, Mike Miller, which is stay getting. You know what I mean? You got, Mike Miller and country.
Right.
I'm the reason why they start producing the way they produce and end up with K Slade.
Wow.
Because I told him his drums is whack. It's shit. And he took it and really focused on it and to where he ended up with, producing with Cameron and all of them. So I hear it years after, like damn nearly anybody I talk to, like, yo, you said something, you did something that affected me. My only request is pay it forward. That's all it is, nigga, pay it forward. Because somebody affected me or inspired me.
Right.
Just pay it forward. And that's why I click with this nigga Ogun, because that's what he does every day. He gives off himself.
Facts.
And too much of us, we just fucking takers. We just takers, man. That's all we do is just take.
That is the deepest shit.
We don't give anything. Like, and as I say, I read a lot and I get into a lot of stuff. Like stuff that sticks in my mind. Like Napoleon Hill has a saying, which is Think and Grow Rich, has a saying like, that's like a person standing in front of the stove and saying, it's fucking freezing. It's 5 degrees below. And you standing in front of that stove and you're saying to that stove, until you give me some heat, I ain't putting no wood in this bitch. That's the average person's mentality. You gotta be a giver, man.
That's deep. I don't know what to say after that. Thank you.
We good.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you inviting me out.
Hey, man, I appreciate the time.
Next time I see you, probably gonna be a whole nother.
It'll be a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Boosie Collins over there will be mayor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get that done. Let's do that. You know what I mean?
The next time I see you, right, we're going to be at his
inauguration.
There you go. We're going to be all dressed in black and ties.
And then I'll have to do an interview with him and shit. Yeah. And then he's going to do the same shit that he was just doing all over again, but it'll just be him. Thank you so much, bro. I think you need to sit back and, drink some more red wine and just pat yourself on the back every now and then. I mean, you got to, bro. I feel like because if you don't, sometimes to understand the value of your existence and how much and how far you've come, you've got to look back at the landscape. Recently, what I've never done, I'm 30 now. I've never once in my life ever kept a picture in any place that I've lived, no housing. And I just in the last year started putting pictures on the wall because there's so much stuff that I forgot about. There's so many things that I did and so many people that I loved and I cared about, and I would forget, and I kept forgetting. And then I'm like, that's why pictures are important. I grew up in a house where we ain't take pictures. My family is not a picture family.
My mom.
But your mom was a picture person?
Hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
That's one thing I do agree with you. I probably got 5 pictures of my mother, man. But it's very few pictures.
You need that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That just to remember, and it helps you internally, just to remember like how not necessarily so you can pat yourself and be like, oh, I'm awesome, but it's like, damn, I've done a lot. Because we can be hard on ourselves. As businessmen, especially as people that grind as hard as we are, we're constantly hard on ourselves because we never focus on how we won. We focus on the dollar that we missed. Shit! That negotiation, I could have got a whole number 15. But you just made 20 million, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Yeah. So, I just want you to do that, because that's another part about being black and being older, is that we never really take the time to...
I don't know about being black and older. I'm older, but I ain't.
Not that I ain't mean like that. Come on now, don't.
No, but I'm not.
We know you're not old.
No, that's not what I mean. I am old, but I'm talking about being black. I don't.
We don't curate our culture enough, meaning that we don't really sit around.
You consider yourself a black man?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But I'm one of a very small group of individuals.
You're black? You're black?
Good. Oh boy, here we go. Yes. We're all black in this room, Negro.
Nah, I ain't black.
You're not black?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so on that one, this interview was over. It's about to get into some 5-star Semitic shit. It's about to get crazy. Yo, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much, man. Aries Lounge Podcast.
Let me clear that up. I'm a Republican. Okay?
Oh, Lord, no. Cut the mic, yo. Follow us on social media at Aries Lounge, at JS1 Supply. I'm a sucker nigga with Instagram.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Does Architect Studios have an Instagram or something like that?
Yeah, if y'all don't know, we like a
the Illuminati. If you know, you know. If you don't, fuck you, nigga. Like that's how it is. We out.